Hello guys and welcome to a slightly different video today. A very simple premise, we're doing an A to Z of stadiums in Europe, all of which have something unique about them. To make sure it's slightly more unique, each country can only be used once, and just like that, let's get underway. A. In Belgium's name translates to behind the army barracks, as unsurprisingly, this is the location of the stadium. Although the barracks are no longer functional, they were taken over during German occupation in Belgium and are now used as a museum to serve as a memorial to this. To make it even more interesting, its sponsorship name is AFAS Stadion, which is the exact same stadium name as the home of AZ Alkmaar over the border in the Netherlands. B. It shouldn't take long to crock onto what is unique about this stadium. Also previously known as the Timsah Arena, with Timsah meaning crocodile in Turkish, this stadium was opened in 2015 and has garnered somewhat of a reputation for itself due to its green style and, to be honest, just looking like a crocodile. C. This is a ground which needs no introduction. Home to Barcelona FC in Catalonia or Spain, depending on who you ask. Opened in 1957, this is the third largest stadium in the world and the largest in all of Europe. Developments are planned to increase the capacity even more to over 105,000. As well as the sheer size, numerous classic events have happened here, such as the majority of the GOAT's playing career and Maradona's goal of the century. D. Onto a slightly more sombre inclusion, and what was, upon its opening in 2009, one of the most modern and innovative stadiums in Europe. Unfortunately, due to its location, it's been heavily involved in the region's war with Russia. It was first shelled in 2014, where the roof, exterior, pitch and infrastructure were all damaged, and it also appears to have been damaged in 2022. Hopefully the future will allow this stadium to return to full use and to flourish. E. The stadiums so far have been unique for various factors, but not so much the view. This stadium, however, is famous for its great location and view of the Ore Mountains. Unfortunately, in recent years, this may have been slightly more entertaining than what was on the pitch for the loyal fans, as the club were relegated to the Free Liga in the 22 season. F. The first somewhat cheat on this list, as there is a letter before the F, but I don't speak Faroese, so I'm choosing to ignore it. The team began purchasing land in 1940, but it wasn't until funding was received from the municipality and loans some 16 years later they were able to build a stadium. Its capacity is disputed online, unfortunately, and I can't get a clear gauge, but all I know is I'd be very happy to be one of the either 1,200 or 3,000 fans there. G. Our first visit to the UK sees us in Scotland at Gayfield Park, home to Arbroath, who are currently in the second tier of Scottish football. This stadium is the closest to the sea in all of Europe and is renowned for the level of wind it receives. So fans say no matter what the weather is, you should always take a coat with you to watch a game. While you're there, why not try a smoky? H. Located in Norway, this stadium is in the Arctic Circle, meaning at certain times of the year the pitch can be played on 24/7. While you can argue it is not a stadium with no stand or terrace, the location in a small fishing village in Norway's Lofton Islands has much fame, including being used by UEFA as part of a #PlayAnywhere campaign. I. A football ground being located at the west end of a UNESCO-listed island is interesting, but it gets even more interesting when you see there is a 15th century fortress behind one goal and a solitaire tower behind the other. It's easy to see why this is one of the most famed football stadiums in all of Croatia and Europe. J. This stadium was formerly called the Amsterdam Arena, however, following the passing of Johan Cruyff, the stadium was named after him in 2017. As well as being one of the best breeding grounds for footballing talents in Europe, the stadium in 2010 decided to add solar panels to its roof, meaning that they make about 10% of the electricity they use a year. K. Known as the Bowl, or even the Burner Bowl by locals, it's been the home ground of FC Isle of Man since July 2020, but it's also shared with 9 other clubs. FC Isle of Man play in the North West Counties Premier League at Step 5. As the only team not on the mainland, FC Isle of Man pay for the travel costs for the away teams, showing their commitment to their growth and to playing in the league. L. Over to France and the distinctive 9 arches of Monaco Stadium. The club has played at a stadium called Stade Louis II since the 1930s, with this particular stadium opening in 1985. Despite being in the sovereign state of Monaco, the club plays in the French Ligue 1. M. One of the most talked about European stadiums on YouTube, with seemingly every vlogger having been. Built for Euro 2004, the stadium's 2 stands and unique design being carved from the Monte de Castro quarry overlooking Braga. The view from the other end is of Braga, and the notable steel strings between each of the stands is said to be inspired by ancient South American bridges. N. Andorra is a national stadium, I believe maybe the smallest stadium of all national teams in Europe. If this is not correct, please do let me know in the comments. Used for both football and rugby union, it was built in 2014, and with a capacity of only 3,306, it has to be the smallest national team stadium in Europe, surely. Even with this capacity, home matches tend not to sell out, but they've not had much success on the pitch. Now, onto somewhat more of a high. Located 2,008 metres above sea level, this is the highest stadium in Europe. Gazprom itself has only 5 inhabitants and no cars or traffic, meaning players and fans need to travel to matches by cable cars. Due to its location, numbers of balls are said to be lost and the pitch is slightly smaller, meaning matches are played 8 versus 8 and there's no offside rule in force. P. The Pancho Arena opened in 2014 and is said to be one of the most beautiful stadiums in the world due to the wood-lined interior. The capacity of 3,816 is over double the size of the village it sits within, and this is one of the reasons comments regarding corruption surround the stadium. The Prime Minister's estate is just metres away from the stadium and he has a great passion for football. Also, there are a number of contracts given that may make you question things. Regardless, this doesn't take away from the oppressiveness of the stadium. Q. Now, this isn't technically in Europe, but Greenland, and the people who live here are citizens of the EU, so I'm taking it. The stadium's impressive, not just because it gives me something to talk about for the letter Q, but also how many matches are played with icebergs in the background. This stadium has played host to the Greenlandic Football Championship in 2017, a 1-week, 8-team football tournament, surely making it one of the shortest tournaments in the world. R. Another great setting with brilliant views of the hills, but also set right next to the river. This stadium, while in Liechtenstein, is home to FC Vaduz, who currently play in the second tier of Swiss football, and what a setting for it. S. Built for the 1990 World Cup, where England played the third place playoff with Italy. Any English football fans will know exactly how that tournament went. This stadium has a unique bowl design looking somewhat like a spaceship. The stadium is somewhat of a cult fan's favourite, and its popularity was only increased when David Platt signed from Aston Villa. T. Ireland is a country known for its sport, but it's fair to say Gaelic football far outshines association football. It may surprise you to know that with a capacity of 8,000, Tallaght Stadium is actually the biggest stadium in the Republic of Ireland, which is exclusively used for football. U. A stadium that holds 43,000, which has no home club and doesn't host a national team, seems somewhat of a waste. With this said, it does host the Gothia Cup's opening ceremony each year. The Gothia Cup is the world's most popular football tournament in terms of number of participants, with around 300,000 visitors each year and around 1,700 teams participating. V. Also known as Stadion Shopping Centre for obvious reasons, this stadium, which opened in 2013, is one of the few rooftop stadiums in the world. Due to the standard to which it's been built, it is eligible to host Champions League matches, but you'd have to wonder how much food and drink they'd sell in the ground with the options available as you walk in. W. This one focuses more on the backdrop than the pitch of the amateur team which play there. Whitchurch Hospital is an old psychiatric hospital in Cardiff that was abandoned in 2016. However, as it's Grade 2 listed, it is likely the building will crumble and nothing will be built there. When football fans talk about scenes, I bet this location's seen some. X. I don't think there are many stadiums in Greece inaugurated by Pele, but this stadium was in 2005. Unfortunately, things have gone downhill from there with no team currently playing in the stadium, as Xanthi have had to withdraw from the league as their current owner, Bill Pappas, is currently being investigated for a $400 million Australian dollar fraud, and his shares have been frozen by the Greek authorities. Y. Home to Maidenhead United in the 5th tier of English football. This ground is recognised by the FA and FIFA to be the oldest continuously used senior association football ground in the world by the same club, having been home to the club since 1871. If anyone is planning a visit here, best be quick as they are unfortunately looking to relocate. Z. With the name translating to Of the Land, the ground was the home of the Slovenian national team from 2004 for a number of years, due to the compliant floodlights and undersoil heating until the national stadium was built in 2010. The stands were built separately, with the East Stand in 2003, West in 2004, South Stand in 2005, and North Stand in, you guessed it? Actually no, it isn't 2006, but I don't have the exact date. Like and subscribe for more. Cheers!